they didn't leave me much space.
Wow.
So I need a favor, an important favor. Even if I'm not funny,
Okay.
I need you to laugh.
Okay.
Clickers wouldn't hurt. And there's a reason. Thank you. Dr. Stoll thinks his folks came from far. My congregants went through a lot to be here, and there's a whole group of them over here. Per capita, we did very well. They had to renew their passports. They had to get everything stamped and ready. They had to weather the blizzard that could have been over there because, you know, we have completely different weather. They had to cross the bridge and they had to come over here. So I want them to have a little laugh. So even if I'm not funny, just a little bit, you can laugh. So I often have to counsel couples who are considering an intermarriage. And when I do this, I have to sound respectable. I have to give them advice that seems reasonable, and yet I know deep in my heart it really has to do, we talk about the cultural differences. You know, what will be your struggles? What will be different? What's different in your families? And I know deep in my heart it's one thing. It's how we eat. It's plain and simple. And I have some experience with this because one side of my husband's family is Southern Baptist. They're not just Southern Baptists, they're rural North Carolina Southern Baptists. 3 ministers, 12 siblings, the whole family. And my family, well, we're Jewish. So, when my husband's family goes out to eat, it goes something like this. They go to the restaurant. They come in the door. They tell the host or hostess how many people. They wait their turn. They're escorted to a table, and maybe it's a little drafty or in the middle of the room, but they sit. Thank you, you remember it. Thank you. So they sit and they look at their menus, and their menus actually have a lot of meaning to them because when they order their food, they order it from the menu. So the server writes down what they want, the server walks away, and sometimes a little time passes. And they still sit there, and they talk. So they're talking, but you know what? One is talking at a time. One person talks, you can hear and understand what they're talking about, and then they finish their thought, and they stop talking, and there's a polite pause before the next person jumps in, usually to agree. So they talk, and their food eventually arrives, and they eat it. Now, when they're done eating their food, they order dessert, sometimes. And they wait, and we won't go through how politely they talk, but there is always that pause. The dessert comes, and I could swear suddenly they're all mathematicians because they meticulously divide the dessert on separate plates with separate spoons, making sure that everyone gets a portion that is fair. They eat the dessert, they pay the bill, they walk out, and perhaps they go to a movie that they all easily agreed on. This is my husband's family. What do we do? What do we do? Well, recently a group of ladies from my wonderful, fabulous synagogue in the faraway distant country of Elyria went out to eat, about 15 of us. So we get to the restaurant, and we need to be seated. And the first table is close to the windows, which is wonderful, except there's a glare. And the next table is big and round, and how will we hear each other? The next one has a draft, and the next one, I feel like I'm in a pit in the middle of the room. And finally, we get seated. And things are good. The server comes, and she's all smiles because we look like a friendly bunch, and asks to take our drink order. Well, one of us, and she may be here, so we'll call her. We'll call her Carol. But I don't think we have a Carol. Says to the server, we're going to make it easy. We're all having water. We're all having water. Well, the server gives a smile and says, wonderful, I'll be right back with 15 waters. She turns to leave, and Carol says, but wait a second. I like mine without ice, please. Server makes her note, no problem, fine, no ice, 14 waters, one without ice. She turns to go. Wait. We'll call her Susan, next to Carol. I like double ice. Well, the server's not smiling quite so much anymore. She says, okay. And before she can leave, the next lady says, you know, I like just ice, but 2 lemons. 2 lemons. And the server, you can just see this poor server as her smile is failing. And we get only ice. I only want ice. No water, just ice. And then a certain person who I would never mention publicly says her signature. My whole group can repeat it for me. Lukewarm tap water, please. Lukewarm, no ice. No filter, just lukewarm tap water. We get 2 lemons, no lemons, double ice, half ice. Do you have a lime instead of a lemon? I want a lime. And the server is in tears by the time she leaves the table. She comes back with her 15 waters, and we can tell she's not who she was a few minutes ago. And we're all ready to place our orders, and we're going to be nice to her on the order. So the first person goes to order. I just want the simple house salad. Nothing else, just the simple house salad. But no bacon. No bacon. Could you do double cheese instead? But only if you have the white cheese. That orange processed stuff, I don't want. Oh, and the croutons. I'm not sure how they'll be. Could you put them on the side? Now, what about dressing? What dressing do you have that's light? Italian? Yeah, my son-in-law's Italian. I'll tell you what. Give me the light Italian, but put a little, about a third of the Thousand Islands in with it. On the side. On the side. And what about the bread? I don't want that white bread roll. It's like air. You have a good rye? Oh, you like it? No, we'll go with 9 grain, but toasted, burnt. Burnt. I want it burnt. The butter on the side. So the ordering goes on like this. We want steak that's medium, but with a hot red center. I'll have the house burger, but I don't want a burger. Could you make it chicken and put it on the side? So this goes on and on and on. Our food comes, right? By now, my husband's family is sitting in a movie. Right? They're happy as can be. Don't even ask if we actually wanted to go to a movie together. And we're sending the food back because the salad has iceberg lettuce. The chicken on the side doesn't have the right marinade. The red center is warm. Right? Now, I think it's because we come from different places. Right? We can't deny. We want to say love conquers all, everything, but we come from different places. My husband's family probably came on the Mayflower. Now, somehow they retained some of the property, some of the culture that they came from. My family, on the other hand, and many of yours, came from Eastern Europe, from shtetls, from farms in Eastern Europe. My great-great-grandfather, in fact, had a farm in Russia. I want to tell you just a little about him, and then we'll call it a night. So he had this farm in Russia, and he had only 1 cow, because of course all of our great-great-grandfathers survived 1 cow. So his 1 cow was fine until one day it stopped giving milk. Finished. No milk. And he and his wife talked, what are they going to do? They have to buy a new cow. Well, they did their homework, and you can buy a cow in Moscow, so I hear, but it's 2,000 rubles. You can buy a cow from Minsk for only 1,000 rubles. Well, my great-great-grandfather was frugal, so the Minsk cow would do just fine. So he got his cow from Minsk, and he brought it back. Wonderful, delicious, huge amounts of milk. Everything is wonderful with the cow. And his wife says, we should get a bull. So the bull mates with the cow. Then we'll always have cows. We won't have to worry if this one should stop giving milk. What will we do? Well, no, we'll have more cows. So they got a bull. They put it to pasture with the cow, and there was only one problem. The cow would have none of it. Not interested in the least. So my great-great-grandfather knew just what to do. He went to see the rabbi. He said, Rabbi, I don't know what to do. My cow, the bull, pasture, it's not working. If the bull comes from behind, the cow just walks forward. If the bull comes from the front, the cow walks backwards. If the bull comes from the side, the cow walks in a circle around. I just don't know. We need these two to mate. The cow will not have any of it. And the rabbi says, did you get the cow in Minsk? Well, my great-grandfather, so I'm told, was absolutely dumbfounded, astounded. Rabbi, how did you know? I never told anyone I got this cow in Minsk. How did you know? And the rabbi gets a very sad look on his face, and he says, my wife is from Minsk.